I don't have the thing. You are the host.
Yeah, I got it. Okay, so today is February 18th. This is the biweekly SIG Instrumentation Meeting. Yeah, we just did intros, so we did not record the intros, so we're starting 10 minutes late. But Elena, do you wanna kick off the agenda?
Yeah, we had a short agenda today, so I figured we could start with intros. I don't know, before I jump into things, there's a ... on the agenda for any other business. I just want to remind people, if you've got something you want to discuss, we've got 20 minutes. I have two things which are not going to be 20 minutes, so you will have your chance to jump in. So think about it. So reminders, we are in enhancements freeze now. Code freeze is March 9th. I am always amazed at how little time there is between enhancements freeze and code freeze. So if you have a cap that you're working on, we really only have like a little over 2 weeks to get, we only have 2 full work weeks left in the release cycle to get all of this feature work in, which is really not that much. So just a reminder, if you have a cap, if you're trying to graduate something, make sure you take a look at it. You know who you are. So any questions about that or deadlines? All of the deadlines are in the agenda. So March 9th is the code freeze. I don't think docs freeze has been announced yet. And the release target is April 8th, which is 1 month after the code freeze. Great. Okay, no questions about that. I don't know. Deadline's pretty straightforward. Annual owners file /org cleanup. So one of the things that we are doing right now as chairs and leads, primarily driven by the chairs, but also with participation from the tech leads, is our annual report. And so the annual reports are due basically at the same time as code freeze, I think March 8th. And so Han and I have been working on the checklist that we need to fill out for the annual report. And as part of that, one of the things that we need to do is owners files cleanup and making sure that our list of SIG members is up to date and whatnot. So I have already gone ahead and submitted some PRs to remove inactive people. So I basically took a look at have these people contributed anything to Cube in the last year? And if no, or if under a certain threshold, I removed them from both our reviewers list and also from the SIG org list. And I also consolidate. We had I think 8 teams or something on GitHub. Now we just have 3. So there's a leads team, there's an approvers team, and there is a members team. So I've reached out to a few of you offline, and this will be a little bit more difficult for the people who are not yet Kubernetes members. But if you're not a Kubernetes member and I reached out to you being like, hey, you're coming to all of our meetings and doing things and participating, please join our SIG as a member. Would you like me to add you? We can find ways to help with, finding you contributions to make and whatnot. I think there's lots of work to be done with structured logging, for example. It doesn't have to be PRs. You can review things. You can file issues. You can comment on issues. All of those things count. So you can make doc changes. It doesn't have to be code. And all of that stuff is valuable. You can help with, KubeCon stuff, although that's kind of not in person right now. All those things count. So if you have any questions about where to get involved, how to get involved, that kind of thing, very happy to help out with giving pointers. And I think because we've removed some of our inactive reviewers, we don't have a lot of people on the instrumentation review list. So if you'd like to become a reviewer, it does involve some responsibility. I would be very happy to walk you through that and talk about, what the requirements are. And in order to become a reviewer, you basically just need all of the approvers to sign off. So
there's also there's a minimum window though. You have to become a collaborator, and then you have to be a collaborator for 3 months. Or
yes.
Something. There's
so you must become a Kubernetes org member. Once you've been a Kubernetes org member for at least 3 months, you can become a reviewer. And then once you've been a reviewer for at least 3 months, you can become an approver. I think we're okay in terms of approvers right now. We're not in any... I think actually SIG instrumentation really punches above its weight in that respect. We have lots of approvers compared to our SIG size, and they are mostly active compared to other SIGs where they've got not a lot of approvers. SIG is huge and half of them are inactive. That's a problem that I've seen in some other groups, but not so much here. But, having more reviewers so we can, for example, assign new things during triage meetings and that kind of thing is always super great. So I actually put together something. This is technically for Node, not for instrumentation, but it is equally applicable for sort of trying to learn how to become an org member, how to do PR review, how to approve things for instrumentation. And it has a bunch of links to other documents. So I will paste that in the chat and also in the agenda, and you can take a look through that. It talks about, for example, if you want to do a review, what do these labels mean? Like, how do I become an org member? What can org members do? What can reviewers do? What can approvers do? So let me paste that here. Any questions? Everyone's shaking their head. Cool. I mean, I hope that's clear. There's like nothing hopefully too mind-boggling there other than come do work for us. We like it when people do work with us. We're very friendly, we promise. What else do we have? I guess I have the annual report. It's in progress. I will send out a draft copy to the mailing list before, which is part of the requirements, before the deadline and before we officially submit it. Because we're supposed to do it collaboratively with the SIG, but it's a lot of paperwork that I don't think other people will actually want to do. So we as leads are trying to get it all done first and then have you review it, as opposed to asking people to do it because I suspected it wouldn't get done.
It's quite tedious. It's quite tedious.
I think it's fine. It's fine. So that's coming. And I should probably put that also in the notes. Annual report is coming. So, any other business?
Yeah, so we do have code freeze in 2 weeks, and we do have a couple things that we need to get out before then, right? Because we still do have a couple keps in play. We have the tracing thing. We're promoting a couple metrics to stable. We need the escape hatch.
And we've also got lots of structured logging stuff, I think. I've been behind on those. But I think at least one of the big PRs for kubelet merged, and we have what looks like good beginnings of a static analysis tool to prevent it from reverting. So yeah, I think we're making good progress.
Nice.
Han, do we have a roadmap or anything tracking all of the feature work that needs to be done for the stability stuff?
They're random issues, but yes.
Random issues, okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything that we need people's help on?
I think we have the things partitioned. So I think UE is going to work on the storage object counts. Yeah, that's going to be exciting. For stable metric. And then the request, we're gonna promote the request ones, but I'm gonna shed the client and maybe content type.
Who is going to do the escape hatch?
That's Yu-Chen if she has a bandwidth. If not, I will do it. I will talk to her today, and if she doesn't have the bandwidth, I can do it. I think Dinghua might be interested. So I can talk to Dinghua afterwards. That is true.
Let's talk offline. Yep.
Sounds good. And then, Merrick, how are you feeling about the structured logging stuff? I have been kind of underwater with other things, so I've been trying to review things as they come in, but and flag approvers, because kubelet we can't approve. We need to get node approvers for those things.
Are you asking about the progress or?
Yeah, because I know you've been reviewing a lot of these incoming things. So is it looking good? Are there any obvious big gaps? Are there any big updates we want to make to the documentation for the migration guide?
So there were, I think, 2 issues brought up. One is key, making sure that people don't make typos in keys, or overall it would also speed up a lot of in reviews. There were
Did we lose his audio?
Okay, yeah, not just
Okay.
me.
Not just me. My internet is terrible right now, so I just assume that it's me.
Fix.
I think he's back.
You back?
Yeah, sorry.
You
I
dropped.
think my laptop is swapping. Yeah. Need more RAM. Yeah. So inconsistency of keys in review makes it slower. So definitely it would be something for if we would migrate more repo, that would be more code base, that would be really useful to just automate this. So just if have a set of like transformations, like someone writes pod with using, I don't know, not enough, like with bad capitalization, we should not review this. We should have a static analysis for that. So it's not a schema, it's just a set of like easy transformations that are trivial to and should always be correct.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I put like / conventions because I mean, at some point we may end up wanting to have like at least like if you use any one of these things, they have to conform to this schema. But like for other things, there's more flexibility. So I don't know. I think that sounds totally reasonable. I agree. Aditi, who wrote some of the like analysis tooling already to prevent the regressions, I haven't had a chance to take a look at it. It's on my backlog, but I think you gave it a look and said it looks good. I can maybe ask her to take a look at that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super simple. Like, I think it's improvement on our setup. It's much simpler. Yeah, it still requires some hooking up, but the code, I think, didn't see anything problematic there. Yeah, and I think the second issue was we should have better guidance about using keys, or like the same thing. Say what we plan in static analysis, we should have something that explains why some transformations are as they are, and like why we picking up those keys. So like it's not, I know, my opinion on what keys should be and what we had originally in the doc.
Do we have like a list or something? Because that would be very helpful if we could just start like, if you want to like start a thread and pound in SIG instrumentation or something like that, and just talk about like, we want to see these things, we don't want to see these things, and then maybe we can work on updating the migration guide so that that we can update that quite quickly, and then people will hopefully conform to it.
Yeah, so like I was thinking that like we could start from static analysis, like I could do static analysis and gather what we have currently, and then split them by groups, because there are lots of keys that there are lots of low-level things that we didn't expect or were not that obvious. So I would do that.
Sorry, I'm typing and muting. So I'm putting an action in the minutes for you to do that. When do we want to sync up on that? Because I think like our next meeting's not for 2 weeks, and so that might be too long. Like, do we want to sync up on that asynchronously? Basically, like, what deadline should I put on this?
I will spend some time tomorrow for sure. So I think we could start looking into on Monday, like to have something.
So I'll put on in the action and the notes that we will asynchronously check in on Monday, which is the 22nd. Great. Okay. Anything else on any topics for the current release features? Because I see that we have something that has snuck onto the agenda. Sounds like no. So Frederick, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, this is just kind of gauging what people think. I don't know if there are any other people, except I know that David, Lily, and I have been joining the OpenTelemetry Prometheus working group. And I felt like Kubernetes was always a large topic. And at the very least, I wanted to get everyone's kind of opinion. I mean, I feel like I know the answer to it, but I feel like we cannot ever not have our like in-process metrics endpoint, right? That's basically an API that we're offering to users, right? And part of OpenTelemetry's discussions that are happening right now is like, should kind of the OpenTelemetry libraries have an option for something like this as well, right? As opposed to always pushing to a collector. And
Yes,
I feel like we would be like we're already even stabilizing metrics within that endpoint, right? So I feel like we won't ever have the option of not having that. And I think this would be a really good data point to take to the OpenTelemetry working group. So
can you forward the invite to the chat so that I can? I don't even know when it is.
it's when our triage meeting is.
Oh, that's awkward.
I forget if it's now every week. Maybe David remembers.
It's every week.
Or if it's every other week. It's every week. Okay.
Yeah,
So yeah, we
every
can join
Wednesday.
We can join every other week, I guess. Yeah.
We also don't have to have everybody at the triage meeting. We can rotate.
Yeah, definitely. So like, how do other people feel about this? I imagine there will be the inevitable issue or question, maybe even we even already have it, that people want Kubernetes to implement OpenTelemetry support, right?
I
defer to David. It's David's problem.
Right.
It's a weird question though. If you don't support like being able to have expose a Prometheus endpoint, then basically that decision is going to inhibit the adoption of OpenTelemetry because I mean, like everyone uses Kubernetes. Like who's gonna have 10,000? Yeah, that's just not sensible, right? Like
I
No,
think
I agree
they're
with you.
proposing the other way around, right? That we migrate towards OpenTelemetry and away from the
Wait.
Prometheus.
Are you sure that it's Wednesdays? Because I just looked at the OpenTelemetry repo on GitHub, and they say that their weekly maintainers meeting is on Mondays at 9.
Yep.
No,
It's
no,
a
no.
It's a
different
different
one.
meeting.
It's a
Different
This
different
is a
one?
specific working group just focused on Prometheus
okay.
compatibility and support.
Is
No,
this the CNCF one?
No, this is yet another one.
Yet another one. We can invite you, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't need to be invited. I just want to make sure that I get it right in the minutes, and I have now found
Yeah.
meetings. So
I think Kemal can link it. He always knows which one it is.
well, please help.
Yeah. I
From
from what
find
I
it.
understand. Okay. No one's speaking. I can just briefly.
Sorry.
From what I understand, the question is more like, does Kubernetes want to migrate to OpenTelemetry format if it won't be a Prometheus or a format that we currently support, right? Because we basically always need an in-process metrics endpoint, right? Do we agree on that? Is essentially, I think, what Frederick wanted to say, right?
it would
Right,
involve
right.
so much retooling. Like I
Yes,
just don't see it.
I know.
I just don't see
Yes.
it being feasible. Like
No, I 100% agree with you, Han.
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
That's why I wanted to
Reach a
bring that
consensus.
up here, so that I don't just like reflect my own opinion there, but that we as our group kind of agree with this, right? And there is kind of also the point in that group where people are saying literally a Prometheus target and an OpenTelemetry target should be indistinguishable. You shouldn't even be able to tell that this is an OpenTelemetry thing or a Prometheus instrumented target. And I very much can sympathize with this, because that's exactly how the adoption would work, right? I think that's kind of what you were saying as well, Han. But yeah, are there any other opinions in the room? Because essentially what I want to do is take whatever feedback we have here into that group.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
I think
back.
from Cube State Metric side as well, like there's no way we can ever not do that. So like first of all, we have a hard time even coming up with a release. And I don't necessarily see that we can even feasibly do that. But yeah, I think that we all sort of agree, but is there anyone opposed to it essentially? Or has a
Don't know
different
that there's
opinion?
anyone opposed to it, but time check. We are at the top of the hour. So I think, where can people send feedback / participate, since we don't have any meeting left to discuss?
So I would suggest that we actually bundle that up here, because there are already, like, every meeting, there's like 70 participants, because everybody feels like they need to participate in this thing. So I think it's good that, like, Lily, myself, and David as representatives of SIG Instrumentation are there. I'm not sure it adds much value if all 11 of us
Oh, I'm not
regularly join.
suggesting that we all go. I'm saying, how do people within this group give you feedback so we can all, like, agree as a SIG, and then not everybody has to go to that meeting?
Oh, that was the point of my point here, that I would literally take what we just
Okay, great.
vaguely agreed on.
Okay, I think probably in the future it would be good to, like, we can have that as sort of an open topic on the agenda, and if you want to bring anything, we can discuss, and then that way we don't have to worry about it. So that sounds good. And it sounds like,
Yeah.
What is the messaging that we want to send to the upstream one for this particular question? Just to make sure that it's captured in the minutes.
I mean, it was more like that. There wasn't a question that group was necessarily targeting towards us. It was more, I feel like this was an opinion that was the case, but I wanted to not just state my own opinion, but like have our group decide on this, right? So just what we have here, essentially, that it's not feasible for the Kubernetes project to do this, is enough of a data point that I can take back to this working group.
I think that is totally fine. So, and to be clear, the thing that is not feasible is migrate all of Cube to OpenTelemetry.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Okay, great. We are, I think, at time, so we should probably wrap it up. Anybody else have
Sorry,
any last
everyone,
words?
for my topic making people stay overtime. Sorry.
It was a good topic. Don't apologize. Okay, I think we're probably done for today. So thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.